in-house.
Now, here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
By the way, an update from the Big 12 softball championships at Oklahoma City. Texas Tech beat Baylor earlier today, 8-6, and Oklahoma's about to knock them out of it, up by 9-2 right now in the sixth inning, I think it is. And we're now joined. We just spent time with Grayson Grunhafer. We're about to talk to the young man in which we asked Grayson about. Bellville running back Richard Reese joins Paul Catalina, David, and Craig Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. Richard, thank you very much for being a part of the show. Let's start with this. What was the reaction? Who did you call for the Baylor staff when you committed, and what was the reaction and what was said to you?
I called Coach Bill, and I told him, because I felt like Baylor, when they had first talked to me through the phone, and I felt like Baylor was just my home, and I had called Coach Bill, and I told him that I wanted to commit, and his reaction was like, wow, and he was like, really? And he couldn't believe it, and he was happy that I told him that I wanted to commit.
Richard, Grayson told us that you get downhill really quick when you're running. Where did you start that running style? Was that always your style from when you first started playing running back?
Yes, sir. That was something that I always had in me. And since I was little, since I played Little League, I just had that motive to get downhill and get downfield.
How much did the Baylor staff talk to you about that's what they liked about you, Richard? That's exactly what they're looking for in their running backs?
Oh, they talk about it a lot. They talk about how when I come, how the line, they got a good line. The line's gonna open up for me, and I see the hole and get through there and be explosive and run the ball hard.
So I've got so much background on you. I can't wait to get to some of this. When you were a Pop Warner Little League player, your dad was the coach, right? Your first year as a player, right?
No, so he wasn't the coach, but he'd come and watch.
Okay.
Stuff.
He told me the first day that you put on pads, and you were, again, Pop Warner Little League, someone basically knocked you out. Not quite, but just flat out knocked you out. Your mom came running onto the practice field, and your father said he had a really good conversation with you about this is kind of what it's going to be like. What, you remember that conversation, although that was quite some time ago?
Yes, sir. He told me, he said, this about football, this how it's going to feel, and this what it's going to be like. And that stuck with me. Ever since then, I've been running the ball hard. Don't like people tackling me. I run them over. I do what I got to do. And ever since then, that always stuck with me to do my best at everything I do.
Richard, I just pulled up your film real quick here from Huddle, and you are not afraid to lower that shoulder, but you don't really have to do it that often, do you? You've got that step that gets out of the box pretty quick, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir. That's one thing I'm gonna have. It's either if you're in front of me, I'm gonna run you over, or if you're not in front of me, I'm gonna get away from you. So I'm can do both ways, do both things.
Richard, what did that mean? What was that like for you? And take us through it as you will to get that Baylor offer.
Oh man, it was so awesome. When Coach Juice and Coach Bell had called me through the phone, and they had told me, I was shocked. Like, I was like, really? I couldn't believe it, and I was just happy, and I was proud to say that I got an offer from them. And like I said, when they had first called me on the phone, first time we got on the phone for the recruiting and all that, I had already felt like I was at home, like I was just there.
Richard, do you feel like that now that you've committed to Baylor, and obviously there's a lot of others that people have seen you play, but do you feel like you have a chip on your shoulder for those that have not paid much attention to you?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir.
What's that chip like?
It's just, I got a chip on my shoulder. Even though some people watch me, it's just having a chip on my shoulder.
Richard Reese, running back at Bellville High School with us on SicEm365 Radio. Coach Rowe told me that he has to stop you during practice from running 100% all the way to the other end of the field so that you guys can get more reps in practice, and that you just go hard 100% of the time, full speed, always run the length of the field. Can you kind of share that conversation Coach Rose had with you about that?
Yes, sir. He do have to stop me. That's one thing. When I practice, I always go 100% practice like he plays. And that's one thing I'm going to always do. Because when I get the ball, I go at least to about 40 or 50. I go 40. And then that's just something I always do to motivate myself when I'm in the game. I know that I got that third notch and second level to get up hard to my standards.
Well, you practice what you want to do. So if the goal is to get 30 yards, you should run at least 30 yards. I get it. I get it, Richard. Does your quick step, that first, like you don't waste a lot of movement when you run, does that enable you to be a kick returner, a good punt returner as well, because you don't waste a lot of movement when you got the ball in your hands?
Yes, sir, it does. Yes, sir.
Richard Reese with us on SicEm365 Radio. So every morning when you go to school, you stop by Coach Rose's office. Do you remember what do you say to him every morning? Every single morning, what do you say to him?
I stop by his office and I'll be like, "What's up, Coach?" And he say, "What's up?" And then when I leave out, we talk about football, the game of football, because I love the game of football, like he loves the game of football and everything. And then when I leave out, we always tell each other, catch you on the flip side.
He said, I love him.
Yes,
He's
sir.
a great kid, got great parents. Last year, round one playoff game, 12 catches, 270 yards and 6 touchdowns. I know your next game lost to Salado. The Salado coach, by the way, Alan Hare, told me in a text message, we watched film of him and we knew we were worried as hell, but we controlled the line of scrimmage that day. You still had some pretty big yards. Salado won the game, but you're coming back for your senior year. We're on the air right now with Richard Reese, the Bellville running back, Bellville High School, who committed to Baylor.
Yes, sir.
Richard, who's your favorite NFL running back?
I like watching J.K. Diamond, even though he just entered the draft. Mm-hmm. That play on the right. Mm-hmm. And Alvin Kamara. Mm-hmm. Alvin Kamara, my favorite. I like watching him play in his game scheme and everything he do.
They don't waste a lot of movement either, do they? You're kind of like that.
Yes, sir.
Your father was a track athlete at Bellville, went to Prairie View A&M for a while. You have 2 older brothers who went to Bellville, and they're like, 8 to 10 years older than you. What did they teach you, and did you try to play with them when you were growing up and you were much younger? And how much did that help you get better to play against your older brothers?
Oh, it made me get better a lot. They taught me a lot of things by track, how to be respectful to people and all that stuff, and they was really good in track themselves, and they just taught me a lot.
By the way, you mentioned going 100%. Your father, Walter, told me that if you pick up you have a bass guitar, you can play the drums, you can sing. Which of those 3 are you better at?
I'm better at playing the drums. I could do all 3, but better at playing the drums.
Was that natural for you, or did you have to practice quite a bit at it? Or is that just something you picked it up and it was a natural gift?
Yes, sir. I started when I was real little, and then I just caught it cold to it quick, and it stuck with me ever since.
It's amazing. I've been told by both the coach and father that when you pick something up and you're told how to do it, you do it one time, and then you don't have to mess around. I know you've had to face a couple of things in your life. The loss of what was a good friend of yours in Zach Hood, who passed away last year. How much did that teach you about life and understanding and respecting what you have in front of you?
It taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to bring our team together, because our team really came close together when he died. We went far in playoffs. We won all our games. We went pretty far, and it taught me a lesson to always be respectful to people, and if people need some help with something, help them out. And yeah.
Who is the one that makes you laugh and giggle the most?
I'd say my mom. She made me laugh and giggle the most.
What about your nieces and nephews?
My nieces, they make me laugh too. Sometimes they do funny things that'll make me laugh, and they make my day too.
What's one thing they do? What's something recently that they've done that just made you like almost spit giggle a little bit?
I had the other week, my niece had a dancing video with my brother Bouchon, and she was dancing to the song, and they had sent it to me, and it started making me laugh.
She's a lot of fun. Now, you guys ever heard of Ted and Ernie Coy, former University of Texas in the NFL a little bit? Richard's on the verge of breaking some of their records, depending on what happens his senior year. You were hurt, you weren't hurt. You missed a game. Richard, was it your freshman or sophomore year? You came down with what was a pretty bad. You were sick. You had the flu or something, and you remember missing it? Yeah. What was that? What did you have?
It was my sophomore year. It was something with my heart, but it wasn't nothing really bad. It was just something where I had to sit out a game, and I had came back the next game.
How hard was that for you to sit out the game against Sweeney?
Oh, it was hard. I told my coach to put me back in. I wanted to play so bad. It was really hard just sitting there watching, knowing that I could be out there just scoring touchdowns, giving it my all, doing it for my team and my coaches.
All right, I got to ask you about Paul. Ask him, Craig. Are you one of the two of you? Ask him about what does Richard do when he scores a touchdown? What's the thing he does? What do you think he does?
I've watched him score a few. He doesn't. He just kind of turns right back around and leaves, right?
Yeah. What do you do, Richard, when you get to the end zone? When you cross the goal line? What's the reaction you do with the ball?
I just cross it, go to my sideline, hand the ref the ball, and go back to the sideline.
Act like you've been there before?
Yes, sir. That's my way of playing football.
Who are the guys you think about, Craig or Paul, that score touchdowns and just lay the ball on the ground and don't do much with it? Two great running backs.
Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell.
That's one.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Emmett didn't. Well, Emmett used to kind of.
Emmett had some fun with it too. Is there somebody in particular? You told Paul a little bit about Kamara and also others.
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. Is anyone that when you saw that, is that something you were taught? Someone tell you that about when you scored? Just act like you've been there before.
No, sir. That's just something my dad always told me. He told me, act like you there. You don't got to be doing all that showing out, because you know that where you just act like you've been there and play your game of football and don't do all that showing out. And that stuck with me. That's something that I always been doing. And it's respectful to act like you've been there and play your game of football and don't do all that acting out.
Well, heck, you've been there 46 times in your last 2 years. You've been in the end zone a lot. Who told you this?
Yes,
you tell me who said this to you. Do all you can. Do it with all your might. Things done by halves are never done right.
My dad, he told me that.
What does that mean?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you?
It means do all you can with all your might. Just put all your effort in and do it with all your might and strength and glory, and just do it with the best of your ability and 100%.
Richard, congratulations. Anything else you want to say to Baylor fans, to the coaching staff? I know you've spoken with them. What else you want to say to Baylor fans about you coming to Baylor?
I'm just ready to go to Baylor. Go Bears, SicEm. I'm ready.
And I think the fans are no question they're excited about you. I have been told you're an all-around gentleman, beloved in the city of Belmead. Richard, thanks for your time. Congratulations. Bellville. I'm sorry, Belmead's in Wake. Bellville, excuse me. Congratulations. Stay focused. Go have a great senior year, and we can't wait to watch you down the road.
Yes, sir.
Richard Reese of Bellville High School with us on SicEm365 Radio. Yeah, he also he knows Ricky Seals. Is it Ricky Seals Jones?
Yeah.
I think that's a cousin of his.
Okay.
And then also he's been close to the family. Also with Emmanuel Sanders is a kind of someone that that he's also kind of always watched a lot as well. He wanted the number 9 growing up because Ricky Seals-Jones, in fact, wore the number 9. Anything else, guys?
No, I just remember Ricky Seals-Jones was a major recruit, didn't quite pan out to the levels that A&M fans had hoped that he would, but I remember he was a great player and, was just a really highly heralded recruit. So wouldn't be surprised if somebody, close to him would have, had an impression made or had a little bit of that rub off on him. But no, I mean, I liked, everything that he said, and he seems excited, and I'm excited for him. Between Sophia Young and her big hiring announcement, this young man being able to make his college commitment, it's just, really cool stories and really positive stories for these people. So it's fun to talk about, and Baylor needs a running back in this class. They've got their running back in this class, and he seems to, from what Paul watched on film or whatever, and what I kind of suspected, he's a straight line, get downfield type of runner, and that's what they were talking about all spring long. So no surprise that he was of interest to them. So good to have him in the fold. Got to keep him in the fold, of course, because now being a Baylor commit, there will definitely be a lot of other teams that go, wait, who's this? Or wait, should we revisit his film? And that's going to happen. But staff, that's their job, and they identified him, they got him, and now they need to hold on to him, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're right, because a lot of times that happens. You can look at the list, and there's like, well, who else has offered him? Not much. Richard Reese is thrilled to be a part of the Baylor, at least, commitment list class of 2022, and I do think you'll see that list change. Because remember, there's a lot of guys that have not been able to get in front of coaches at camps. They got wiped out last year. And so now some of that is back this summer, and so then some are going to be able to say, wow, okay, who is this guy? Even though they know with Richard Reese had nearly 4,000 yards, 46 touchdowns in a couple of years. And last year he had about 100 yards or so, give or take 20, less than he had as a junior or sophomore. He played in, like I mentioned earlier, 2 less games because of COVID in games that were canceled. All right, Sophia Young joined us earlier. Sophia Young-Malcolm. We've had Richard Reese. Coming up, we'll have Max Olson, theathletic.com. Also, thanks to